Welcome back to the Gates Technology YouTube channel. Today I'll be showing you how to create your own homemade router out of an old desktop or workstation. As an example, I have an old Dell Optiplex here, which I pulled out of the trash. It will be replacing your current internet provider router. Hopefully you've already replaced that. This is an example of one. This one is from Spectrum. And the reason you're going to want to replace this is they are extremely insecure out of the box, and they are made as cheap as possible, so they won't have the oomph to help power your small business as it grows. While on the other hand, the router that we will be making will be vastly more secure and vastly more powerful, even on a 10, 12-year-old system. So a few things you'll need to get started is a USB flash drive. It has to be at least 8 gigabytes or larger. A laptop with an Ethernet port, in case you don't know what those are. There are these little suckers on the back of this. An Ethernet cable, a network NIC. I will have everything you need linked in the description. So let's get started. First, we'll have to download a few things. All right, so let's get into downloading things. The first thing you're going to want to do is open up Chrome and then open all of the links in the description where it says downloads. Now, the first thing to download is pfSense. So here I am on the downloads page. The current version as of uploading this video is 2.6.0. Yours may be different. For architecture, select AMD 64, and then for installer, select DVD Image ISO Installer. And where it says mirror here, that's just the closest location to you. So if you aren't close to New York, go ahead and change that, but I am, so I'm going to keep it. And then click download. And now the next thing you'll have to download is something called 7-zip. On the downloads page, just click the first link and then let that download. And then the third thing you're going to need to download is Balena Etcher. And go ahead and download that. And I'll come back once all of these have downloaded. So now that it's done downloading, you're going to want to open up your File Explorer. Most of the time it will be pinned down here in the taskbar. If it's not, you can come over to the type here to search and type in Explorer and open up the one that says File Explorer. Now you're going to want to navigate to your downloads directory, and then you'll find all three of these. I'm just going to create a new folder on the desktop and drag them there. So now that you have all of these in their own directory, you could do this in the downloads one. I suggest moving it to a separate one. The first thing you're going to want to do is double click on the 7-zip one, which will just say 7Z and then a few numbers, x64. Click yes, and then click install. And then after it says 7-zip has been installed, click close. The next thing you're going to want to do is open up Balena Etcher. Click I agree, and then wait for it to install. And it should automatically open up the program when it's done. For now, you can just minimize it. And now for pfSense, you're going to want to come up to it, click it, and then right-click, and hover over the 7-zip option here, and click Extract to pfSense, blah, blah, blah. That will create a new folder. Just enter that directory. And now that the directory is open, you'll have this ISO file. It should say disk image file under type. Just drag that to the previous directory, and you can get rid of that directory now. So this is the one thing that you need out of all three of these. So go ahead and drag this to the desktop, or if you know where it is, just leave it where it is. And what you're going to want to do now is insert your USB drive, which I've already done. Open up Explorer again. Right-click on the drive that is the USB drive. For me, it's drive F, and it's named USB drive. Right-click it and press Format. Now make sure you don't have any data on here that you want to keep, because it will erase all of it. And you can name it whatever you want. I'm just naming my USB drive. And then press Start and OK. And then OK. And now you can close that and Explorer again. So in Balena Etcher, go ahead and unminimize it if you haven't already. Click Flash from File, and then go to where the pfSense disk image file is and double click on it. And that should select it. And after that, click Select Target and click on the USB drive. For me, it's telling me it's a very large drive because it is. Just make sure it's the USB drive selected, and then click Select, and then Flash. And if it's a large one like mine, you'll get another error saying, hey, this is a really big drive. Are you sure you want to do this? Just click yes. And then yes. And now you should have to wait for about 5 to 10 minutes, depending on the speed of your flash drive. If it's faster, you won't have to wait that long. If it's slower, you're going to have to wait a while. And I'll be back once this is done. When it finishes, it should pop up with a notification. I usually have these off. But it'll say Flash Complete. Now you can close out of that and close out of this if it asks you to format it again. And just right-click it and click Eject. That will safely remove it. Now that that's been done, what the heck? Now that that's been done, you're going to want to take the USB drive out of the computer and then plug it into the computer you plan on using for your homemade router. For me, I'm going to be virtualizing it. I'm using a program called VMware, but the steps will be exactly the same. What you're going to want to do to figure out what you need to do to get to the boot menu. A quick note while I'm editing, I never explained what a boot menu was and why you would need to access it to install this. So what a boot menu is it just loads every single possible thing connected to the computer that could load an operating system, or things that it thinks are able to load an operating system, and it lets you pick which one you want to load. So if you're wanting to load the pfSense installer like we are in this video, you will select that, and it will load that over Windows. And the most common keys, so you don't have to go Googling it, are F11, F12, delete, and F9. So you're going to want to take the make and model like this, and it should say it on the computer. If it doesn't, it should at least say this part, the Dell Optiplex, and then type boot menu button afterwards and search Google. And it should just pop up like this. For me, it will be F12. You're going to want to press that continuously as you turn the computer on, and then select the device that says USB, just anywhere in the title. So let me go ahead and start this virtual machine so I can show you how to install it. So it'll pop up with this page. It will automatically boot to the first option, but if it doesn't, just press enter. And this will take a minute. Okay, now that it's booted up, you'll be popped up with this copyright and distribution notice. Just press enter, and then press enter again, 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 and enter again, and then press space. But make sure you press space where it's on your hard drive. It will be the one that doesn't have anything with USB in the title in it. And then just press enter. And then press the left arrow, and then press enter. But this will take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. It could take longer if you're using an older computer and slower drives, but it should take anywhere between 5 to 10 minutes. I will be back once it's done. Once it's finished, it'll ask you if you want to make any final manual modifications. Just select no and press enter, and then reboot. But once it's installed and you reboot it, it'll come up with the same menu, but it'll take a little bit longer to boot this time. That is normal. For me, it takes about 5 minutes. I will be back once it's finished. Once it boots, you will be popped into this screen instead. It will show you all of the commands that you can do, but for now, just ignore it. So what you're going to want to do is hop back onto your desktop you used to download all the stuff and set up the USB drive, and take an Ethernet cable and plug it into one of the free ports on the router, and then plug it into one of the free ports on the desktop if you have more than one. Once you've done that, you're going to want to press the Windows key or click where it says type here to search and type in CMD and then press enter. And after that, type in ipconfig /renew. I will have this command down in the description as well. For me, it's just giving this error because it is a virtual machine and I have 2 different connections to it. But this is what you're looking for. Should say the default gateway is 192.168.1.1. You'll find this here. So you're going to want to go to this IP address in your default browser. For me, that's Chrome. And it will pop up saying your connection's not private. That's okay. A quick editor's note. If you come across this message in the wild and you do not own the server that is hosting it, or you do not own the website that you are going to, do not proceed because it could be a malicious website. We own this server. We know it's fine. Just press advanced and then proceed. The default username and password is admin for the username and then pfsense, this right here, for the password. Then you'll hear a beep on the server hosting it. That was this. What you're going to want to do is press next. Press next. You can enter whatever you want here. I'm just going to put example pfsense. Now, you cannot do any spaces in here. So if you want to do a space, just use this little tick. And then the domain can also be anything you want. I'm going to make it example. That's not how you spell example. Example.pfsense. And your primary domain name server, which is this, just type in 1.1.1.1. So 4 ones separated with dots. And then secondary is very similar. It's 1.0.0.1. And then click next. And then leave this all default unless you want to use your own time server. So you could do time.apple.com and then just press next. Oh, I forgot to mention, change your time zone to where your actual time zone is. For me, that is US Eastern, and then press next. In here, this will look a little bit daunting and complicated, but trust me, it's really not. You can ignore most of this stuff. Actually, you can just ignore all of this. Just press next. And then where it says LAN IP address here, leave it default. It will make your life so much easier. Press next, and then enter a good password. Mine is just going to be password 1234. And then press next. Make sure that password is secure. And then press reload. And it will take a minute or two to finish setting everything up. As you can see, that took about 30 seconds. And the first thing you're going to want to do is click check for updates. And as you can see, mine is up to date. So now if you press this logo here where it says pfSense Community Edition, it will pop up this big message. Just press OK or accept and then close. And here is your main page on the pfSense router. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope that this helped. I will have more videos coming out showing you everything you can do with this and how to make it many times more secure and overall better for your small network. I personally use pfSense at my house. I love it. I use it for hosting a bunch of stuff like web servers and game servers and stuff like that.